Hello, welcome back to Think IPA, the podcast where we turn your ideas into income and your genius into generational wealth. I'm Dr. M today. We're digging deep into something that could change the IP game in Australia. Artificial intelligence, future manufacturing, Indigenous culture, and yes, taxes. That's right, we're talking the Albanese government's IP game plan. What's already rolling out, what's still cooking, and how it could either unlock massive market opportunities or leave your IP stuck in the past. Now, before we dive in, let's talk about the elephant in the polling booths. Earlier this month, Anthony Albanese didn't just win re-election, he obliterated the opposition. A landslide victory, a clear mandate. And while the headlines screamed cost of living, housing and climate action, there was something deeper humming beneath the surface. Australians backed a vision, a belief in sovereign capability, in local smarts over global imports, in the idea that we don't have to be a nation that just digs stuff up and ships it out. This re-election should be a major political reset. It should signal innovation sovereignty. A signal that now is the time to go big on innovation, IP protection, and turning Aussie brains into bankable businesses. Let's break it all down. We've all heard the hype, ChatGPT, DALL-E, AI songwriting tools, and more. But here's the million-dollar question. If a machine makes it, who owns it? To their credit, the Albanese government saw this storm coming. IP Australia's Generative AI Discovery Program launched in 2023, gathering feedback on how AI intersects with patents, designs, trademarks, and copyright. Here's a real story. In 2022, an Indigenous artist discovered that an AI-generated image looked eerily similar to her dot painting. Because the AI had scraped public data that included her work, the government responded with a Senate inquiry into AI, and it's now pushing for new standalone AI laws, greater protections for creatives, and transparency in AI training data. Bottom line, if you're building tech, designing content, or automating creativity, watch this space. The rules are being rewritten in real time. Future made in Australia, where ape meets industry. Now let's pivot to Albanese's flagship policy, Future Made in Australia. This isn't just a manufacturing policy. It's a nation-building play. It's about making the things we invent, not just inventing them and letting someone else cash in. We're talking solar tech, battery storage, hydrogen, EV components, clean energy processing. And guess what all that activity creates? Intellectual property. Here's an example. A Queensland startup creates a heat-resistant battery casing. Under Future Made in Australia, they secure funding, file a patent, scale operations, and license the tech globally. That's how policy meets profitability. But here's the catch. Innovation without commercialization strategy is just expensive tinkering. If the government wants ROI on these investments, they'll need to support not just R&D, but IP creation, protection and licensing. R&D tax and the patent box promise. Let's talk money, specifically tax incentives. Right now, Australia caps R&D tax offsets at $150 million for big firms. Industry is lobbying to raise that to $250 million. Companies like Cochlear are vocal, warning that without competitive tax treatment, we'll lose innovation to offshore labs. Then there's the patent box scheme, which offers reduced tax rates on profits from patented Australian innovations. Announced, not fully rolled out, still hanging in policy limbo. But with a fresh mandate, this government now has the runway to implement it and send a clear message to inventors. If you build it here and patent it here, you'll profit here. Off it. Indigenous IP, from culture to commerce. This deserves centre stage. For over 60,000 years, Australia's First Nations people have built knowledge systems, stories, and innovation frameworks we're only beginning to understand. But in my view, our current intellectual property laws do not fully protect Indigenous cultural and intellectual property, or ICIP. That's why the Albanese government has pledged action crackdowns on fake Aboriginal art, clearer labelling laws, stronger community protections, and ongoing consultation with traditional owners. Here's a case study. Bundjalung artist Bronwyn Bancroft built a successful art and fashion brand by fiercely protecting her copyright and IP. But the fight wasn't easy. The next generation of Indigenous entrepreneurs shouldn't need legal degrees to defend what's rightfully theirs. This is more than economic empowerment, it's cultural justice. So what does it all mean? Let's zoom out. The Albanese government has the wind at its back. Voters have handed them the keys to do more than manage the economy. They can reimagine it. More AI regulation is coming. More innovation funding is likely. More IP policy reforms are overdue. And here's where you come in, whether you're coding AI tools in Sydney, building batteries in Geelong, or selling Indigenous fashion in Darwin. You have a chance right now to build a business where your IP is your biggest asset. 5 things to do right now. Register your IP early, before you pitch or publish. Track government grants under Future Made in Australia. Watch the patent box roll out for tax breaks on innovation. Educate your team on IP basics, especially in creative or tech sectors. Support Indigenous-led IP with licensing, partnerships, and respect. Let's be real, this landslide win, it wasn't just about stability. It was about sovereignty, economic, cultural, and intellectual. Australia's future economy won't run on coal. It'll run on code, on clean tech, on content, on culture. This is your time. Protect your IP, monetize your magic, and help turn this re-election into a reinvention of the Aussie economy. If you found this discussion valuable, share with your friends and other business leaders. If you want to dive deeper in strategies to identify, create, build, protect, value, commercialize and manage your intellectual property, go to thinkip.au or scan the QR code in the next screen and email me what you liked or didn't like about this podcast. And I'll send you a free copy of the Think IP book, over 450 pages of practical, high-value insights, just to say thank you. Until next time, think IP, because it pays.